Okay, so we're going to try some proportional modelling. So this is where we can make our shapes, the things we're building, look a little bit more natural than the kind of sort of more blocky stuff we've been doing more recently. So we're going to build a tree trunk, and as we know, a tree trunk is an organic structure. So it's got lots of waves and curves to it, and so on. So we're going to build on those in Blender today, and we'll start by getting rid of the cube that's there as normal, and we're going to begin by adding a cylinder, which will become the tree trunk. And we'll just start by using the scale tool, so you can press S to do that. But I'm just going to press the icon. And we're going to make the tree trunk probably around about sort of that size. Okay, you do it however you want. We're then going to move to edit mode because we want to edit certain elements within the cylinder. Okay, so we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide the cylinder into sections of the tree trunk, so we can kind of bend the tree trunk at different points. So we're going to use the loop cut, and I'm just going to click into the cylinder whilst loop cut is selected. So loop cut on the left down here. Okay, and I've just clicked in there to make this one loop cut. Now you can do this manually, and you can divide the tree by clicking, as we did with the chair tool, or we can make our lives a bit easier. And down on the left, we've got this menu, loop, cut, and slide. So if I go into that, I can do number of cuts, and I'm going to set it to 11 cuts and press enter. And you can see it's equally cut the cylinder into with the 11 sort of cuts there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to then make each of these cuts a separate part of the tree trunk. Okay, so next step here, I'm just going to go back to my selection mode here and just deselect. And we're going to select the bottom of the tree trunk. So I'm just going to use my pan tool and zoom tool just to zoom in a little bit, just to make it a little bit easier. Okay, so we're just going to make sure on the left here we've got this vertex select tool selected. So next to the edit mode window, this first one. Okay, and we're going to click on the bottom of the tree trunk there, and can you see like it's just gone orange? It's selected one element of it. Now what we want to do is we want to select all the vertices in that section, and to do that, if you hold down the Alt key, so Alt on the keyboard, then just click in the same place again. Okay, so you can see the whole bottom has been selected now. If that hasn't done, if it hasn't selected correctly, just click outside and just reselect it and try again. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to then enable the proportional editing mode. Okay. Now, to do that, up the top menu, we've got that little, it's like a little kind of dot with a circle around it. So if you click on that, and what this will do, as we move the bottom of the tree trunk, this will kind of move the other sections of the cylinder in proportion to what we're doing, so it looks a little bit more natural. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to scale the bottom, so we're going to pull it outwards. So I'm going to press S on the keyboard and just pull it outwards a little bit like that. Okay, so this can be kind of the bottom of our tree trunk. Now, if we then use our mouse wheel, okay, you can see there we can change the strength of the move. Okay, so we want something, let me pull that out a bit more. We want something that looks reasonably natural. Okay, I don't know, maybe for a palm tree, or if we've got maybe something, I don't know, it doesn't look that natural, I guess, but I'm gonna go with that. Okay, so we're just going to press X to, we're just going to click the mouse button to fix that. So we've got the base of our tree. Okay, and then what we're going to do next is we are going to kind of add a sort of waviness to the trunk. And we're going to do what we did before. We're going to just select, say, roughly the middle of the tree. It doesn't have to be exact. So just clicking in there to select, okay, and then holding down Alt, and then selecting, say, like that part there. So we're selecting the whole ring. Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to press G. Okay, G for good on the keyboard, and that will kind of wave add a sort of wavy element to the trunk. Okay, and again, we can use the mouse wheel to select the sort of strength of that wave. Okay, so a bit more blocky if we wheel in, a bit more sort of natural if we wheel out. So we're just going to get that somewhere roughly around about wherever we want it. So I'm just going to press to click. Okay, and then we've got the natural wave in the trunk. And then finally, we're just going to select the top of the trunk up the top here. Okay, so like we did before, we're just going to click and then hold down Alt and click the top ring there. And I'm just going to press R on the keyboard, R for Roger. And I'm just going to rotate that palm tree in a direction. Okay, maybe something like that. Okay, so again, because we're using this proportional editing mode, this is when we move something, it's then also editing the rest of the model to try and sort of make it look reasonably natural. Okay, so I'm just going to put my rotate there. Okay, so what we've got here is the base of our palm tree, the trunk. Okay, and then we're going to go and add some leaves to it in the next video.